We're here on the campus of Northwestern University, which is where you actually started as a pre-medicine major, right?
Yes. I wanted to be a writer when I was 10. So other factors came into play where I said I wanted to be a doctor. And of course, my parents and people around me were happier about me saying I want to be a doctor than a writer. So I want to be a doctor, but I did not do well in chemistry and biology and calculus. So, and all I wanted to do was write poems.
Was there a poem that inspired you from the very beginning?
I remember the first poem that I encountered in first grade. Once there was an elephant who tried to use the telephone. Oh no, I mean the elephant who tried to use the telephone. So I was in love with poetry in first grade.
Born in Greenville, Mississippi in 1951, Angela Jackson was the fifth of 9 children. A year later, she moved with her family to the south side of Chicago in the second wave of what's called the Great Migration. During this time, from the 1950s to the 1970s, thousands of black families left the Jim Crow South for the cultural and economic opportunities Chicago could offer. The Jackson family settled into a house on 55th and Wentworth Avenue. Angela spent her young years trekking to the local branch of the public library to devour books. She absorbed lessons of family, black culture, humor, and heartache around their large family dinner table. The richness of her neighborhood provided later inspiration for her poems.
We belonged to the Baptist Youth Group, and next door to the Baptist Church was the Pentecostal Church. We called them the Sanctified Church. And during summers, we would stand outside, and when the people would get the Holy Ghost and dance, we would dance with them in front of the church. So I got a full black religious experience just by growing up on my block.
The Jacksons steered their children to academic excellence, and Angela was a family standout. She earned an academic scholarship to study pre-medicine at Northwestern as one of the early waves of black students to attend the university as a group. But her love of words called to her. You met a few key people that kind of steered your talent quite a bit and recognized your talent.
I met my mentor, Hoyt W. Fuller, who was the editor of Negro Digest Black World, and I showed him some of my poems, and he kept them for a while, and when he gave them back to me, he told me that I had a way with words, and he invited me to the Obasi Writers Workshop where I might be judged by your peers, he said.
Obasi, which stands for the Organization for Black American Culture, was created in 1967 to create and promote literature and art that was to, for, and from black people. It was a revolutionary idea at the time that black literature could be judged based upon black style and black truth.
I went to Obasi and I stayed for 20-some years, and I grew as a poet. And the thing about literature, when you tell the truth from your own perspective, when you go down deep into the specific, you arrive at the universal. So just by telling my own truth, I would be reaching other people.
Reach other people she did. Her first collection of poetry, called Voodoo Love Magic, elevated her to the national stage as an important new poet with an unwavering eye on the black experience. Her next collection won the Carl Sandburg Award. Her more recent collections have been nominated for the National Book Award and the Pulitzer Prize. She's written several plays, novels, and a biography of one of her own idols, the poet Gwendolyn Brooks, who was Illinois' 3rd Poet Laureate. She is the 5th. What are your responsibilities as the Illinois Poet Laureate?
The chief responsibility is to inspire a love of poetry across the state. keep people excited about poetry.
Jackson has toured the state giving readings, talks, and educational programs during her 4+ year tenure. What do you say to all the kids who say, poetry is so boring? Ugh.
Try going to a poetry reading.
Come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. Come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. Been so long without you, I think I'm about to die.
Try experiencing it, and if you're experiencing it, hearing it, that'll pull you in.
Angela Jackson poems are vivid reflections of human choices and a human sense of identity filtered through the lens of her own colorful upbringing on Chicago's South Side. They also address our weaknesses and flaws with musicality and humor.
One night, Z.Z. Hill sang at the club Tupelo. The night Z.Z. Hill sang at the club Tupelo on the west side of Chicago. He was built like a heavyweight boxer in a tailored suit, bathed in a soft blue light like the only thing to see in that darkened space where blues people came to turn a tear into a holler, then a cry of joy and exultation. The women lined up to kiss Z.Z. Hill, or at least shake his hand, but with a turn of his hand, he waved them away. They couldn't hide disappointment, but that's the way love treats a woman sometimes. He kept on singing, boxing the air, those songs about promise, regret, and living it, turning our hearts tough like his voice got turpentine in it. Do you know how Z.Z. Hill died? In his driveway, laid out under a bright midnight moon, like heaven opened its refrigerator door. The neighbors watched from their windows. Wasn't he on stage, whispering about how fallen down drunk he was, disgraceful, dead drunk? He was, in truth, gone from a heart attack at 49, that fast, that young, leaving our hearts knocked out in some down-home blues. Caregiving, my girl. Before the doctor told me I could not leave her, not even for 15 minutes. Twice a week, I would rumble race out of that house, wind zip down the street to the L, jump on to 87th, haul dash to the gym, stomp the treadmill for 45 minutes, then pull heavy arms and thighs for 15 minutes, rumble race back to the L, ride the train in a soft sweat, then fast charge down the street. And one day, there she was, sitting on the gray stoop like a little lost girl, head turned in my direction, wistful. You were gone a long time. I never went to that gym again.
I think anybody who has had to care for somebody who is not, where you're in charge of their safety, right? It's a beautiful ode to that situation.
There's so many of us in that situation. It was, I knew when I was writing it that I wasn't just writing it for myself, even though that had happened to me. I knew that other people needed that poem. I hope that it can be said that I wrote exceptional poems. I can't say I'm a great poet. They're better than good. And also that they have some sense of beauty and truth, that they are honest.
Angela Jackson, thank you very much.
And thank you so much.